always loved being alone. But are you ever truly alone when you carry a book with you? As far back as I remember, I've been a very introspective person. I enjoy thinking, connecting the dots from all the impressions I get throughout the day. Some dots from other people, some dots from the world around me, and some dots from the books I read. Some of these thoughts never leave my head. Instead, they get sorted in neat stacks in my mind. I sort them, put them neatly on a shelf. Some I'll never look at again. Others I bring back and write down on paper in the real world. I seek out or create quiet places where I can think, where I can dream. Libraries, beaches, the forest, all in an attempt to find a lasting calm for all the thoughts in my head. But I'm also indecisive. When I go to a quiet place, what book should I bring? What mood am I in today? What will my mood be when I get there? I often don't know, and I can't see the future. That was the reason why I got my first digital reader in 2007. They let me bring all the books. They let my thoughts flow into writing when I need it. I still love the feeling of a high quality physical book, but bringing your entire library with you does have its advantages. I'm about to upgrade my e-reader, and that brings up the question, is the Kindle Scribe the best one I can get? Is it the best one for me? And maybe is it the best one for you? Hello, I'm Razu and welcome to RazuTales, where I talk about books and writing. Today I'm going to take a look at the Kindle Scribe. How is it to read on? How is it to write on? And how does it compare to other readers? So grab yourself some coffee and let's talk about that. Did you know that more than half of all fiction readers who read often prefer ebooks? Worldwide, there's still a preference for physical books, but in many of the larger countries like the United States, more fiction ebooks are being sold than physical books. With ebook popularity rising, picking the right reader becomes important. It needs to be good for reading, maybe for note-taking, and it should be future-proof. So, is the Kindle Scribe all that? Let me tell you a story while I try to sort my bookshelves here. A few months ago, I was going to work and I go by train. And the train is always extremely filled, so it can be difficult to find a place to sit. But this day I managed to get a seat, and I sat down next to an elderly man. And he was reading a hardcover book. And it was a hardcover version of The Puppy War, which is one of my favorite books. I have it right here. I usually don't talk to strangers on trains, but this particular man, he broke the ice when he saw my Kindle, because as it turned out, he was pretty annoyed at having to carry this particular heavy book with him on the train. He also said that it was annoying when he couldn't get a seat and he then couldn't read because balancing with a book was too difficult for him. The reason he hadn't pulled the trigger on buying an e-reader was that he had never seen one up close before. I showed him my Kindle Oasis and the couple of hundred books I had on it. His main concern had been if it would feel like looking at a phone screen, and he quickly realized that it wasn't. We continued to chat until he had to get off, and I even managed to recommend some Brandon Sanderson books to him. I know that most of you watching this video probably already know how text on an e-reader looks. But my discussion on that train made me think about how amazing e-ink technology actually is. The Kindle Scribe is as both the Kindle Oasis and the Kindle Paperwhite. The text looks crisp, and you can change both the size and the font to match your needs. I enjoy the dark mode when I'm reading in bed at night because it is easier on the eyes. One new thing is the option for reducing the bright light by making it warmer. It's often a good idea to reduce blue light before you go to bed because it helps you relax. But this can also be a preference thing if you just prefer a warmer light on your text. As always, you can highlight the text, look up words, add bookmarks, and search in your books. One thing which is new here is the option for adding handwritten notes to your text, but we will get back to note-taking in a bit. A month or so after, I ran into the man again, and this time none of us had been lucky enough to get a place to sit, so we were both standing up, and he was carrying a Kindle Oasis, and he actually thanked me for recommending it to him. And funnily enough, he had started reading Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Can I tell you a secret? I have a small confession to make. I own every Kindle model ever released, going back to the first model released in 2007 up to the latest Kindle Scribe. And I will probably get the newest one as soon as it comes out. I just can't help it. But with the Kindle Scribe, I'm not sure that it is that much better than the previous Kindle. And that makes me consider if the Kindle Scribe is for everyone. Is this really the best reader for me or for you? Let's look at what makes the Kindle Scribe different. Note-taking. I take notes all the time. I take notes for work, I take notes for the novel I'm writing, I take notes for role-playing games, I write down random ideas, I write notes on the books I read, you name it, I probably take notes for it. I take notes in many different ways as well. I have an advanced note-taking setup in Notion where I structure my notes, but I also use Quick Notes and Apple Notes. I write in physical notebooks. I even have an Evernote account where I keep my annotated PDFs. I take notes on my computer, on my iPad, and on my phone. But I have to be honest, since I got the Kindle Scribe, I have taken most of my notes on it. Maybe it's the simplicity of use or the tactility of it. I don't know, but I love it. Let us go through some of the features here. First of all, on the Kindle Scribe, you have an entire section dedicated to notes and notebooks. You can create different notebooks and decide on different paper types in each notebook. The different types go from different sizes of lined paper to calendar paper to to-do paper. I think the choices here should cover the needs of most note takers. Now, let's talk about the most important thing. How is it to write on? Coming from an iPad with an Apple Pencil, this Kindle is a dream to write on. Using an Apple Pencil on an iPad is fine, but you still have that feeling of moving a plastic pencil across glass when you are writing. That is not the case on the Kindle. It doesn't exactly feel like paper, but it still has the tactility of something that is almost as paper. The e-ink screen responds immediately and you don't feel that strange lag you can feel on other similar devices. I probably wouldn't recommend the Kindle Scribe as a device to draw on. I'm no artist, but I feel that it probably won't have the same level of detail for drawing as you do on an iPad or dedicated drawing tablet. But for writing, this is really great. You do have different types of drawing tools to pick from. Pen, fountain pen, marker, and pencil. All have their own look and feel. One neat advantage that this has over regular paper is the option of moving your writing and drawings around after you've written them. Just pick the right tool, draw a circle around it, and then you can freely move it. The pencil itself feels nice in the hand, and it comes with several replacement tips. In the opposite end of the tip, it has an eraser head, though you can change what this should actually do in the settings. So when you use the other end of the pencil, you can erase. There's also a small button on the pen, which lets it work as a marker, so you can mark your notes when you hold it down. Again, the functionality of the button can be changed in the settings. One major criticism of the Kindle Scribe when it was released was that you couldn't share your notes and get them off the device. This has later been fixed with a software update, so now you can simply email entire notebooks or individual pages as PDFs. It is very simple and works great. Personally, I email the notes to myself and then add them to my note-taking flow. If you use Evernote, you can make use of the great OCR features there and email the notes directly into Evernote. Then Evernote will index your notes so they become searchable. Apple Notes does the same, but not in as fancy as way as Evernote. There is one point where the Kindle Scribe falls short, and that is when you are taking notes inside books. I would love to be able to just scribble notes across my Kindle books, but instead I have to create a note, as you have always been able to, and then inside that note you can now put handwriting. If you're taking notes on an imported PDF, you can add notes directly on the PDF. I hope that this is a feature that will eventually come to all Kindle books as well. You might have seen another video on my channel where I talk about how I lost access to 300 Kindle books and how I only got access back because Amazon had a security loophole. And part of that discussion is one of my concerns with using Kindles. Amazon locks you into their ecosystem. If something goes wrong with your account or they decide they don't like you, you can potentially lose access. I know you can download all your books and store them locally, but you still can't read them on other devices than Kindles. So in a way, the moment you start buying Kindle books, you commit to a lifetime of being part of the Kindle system. I think that's something you should consider before buying your first Kindle. I've made my peace with doing that, but you should think about it before you commit. So, is this the best e-reader? For me, this has been a no-brainer. I'm already committed to the Kindle ecosystem and I take a lot of notes all the time. As you might have guessed, I'm a bit of a tech geek, and as such I own a lot of tech devices where I can take my notes. But after getting the Kindle Scribe, I have mainly been reaching for that when I wanted to take notes, and that says a lot. The simplicity of this device just speaks to me in a way that my iPad does not. When all that is said, I have to admit that I am not sure that the Kindle Scribe is for everyone. If you mainly want a Kindle for reading, then I would go with the Kindle Oasis. It is far smaller and easier to sit with and carry with you. It does the exact same thing in nearly all aspects as the Kindle Scribe, except for the note-taking. I should also mention that there are other similar devices out there that won't lock you into the Kindle system. Specifically, I have heard many good things about the Kobo devices, and the Kobo devices also come in color. On the Kobo color, you can do almost all the same as on the Kindle Scribe, but in color. This sounds amazing to me, but sadly I don't have access to a Kobo color right now. But if enough of you let me know in the comments that you are interested in seeing me review it, I might pick it up just for that. Picking up a new e-reader has given me a renewed interest in ebooks and in e-ink devices. Having all your books with you just makes it easier to find time for reading. And if you want some more tips on how to find time for reading, I suggest you watch this video here. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next chapter.